Hello, hello, hello. And we are live. I think I'm set up here. Why is this piece going? You already know. I always talk about everything is not perfect. While you're on, people be worrying about too much when they go on live. Look, my hair, look a mess. This happened, this happened. Look, you never get anything going, your message out there. You never get your business started or anything if you're not willing to roll with the punches and stop being so perfect. Okay, so that's a little spiel for today. I just really sat here and fixed my hair on live. But that's what makes me me. That's what makes everything fun. For those who are tuning in, state your city and state where you're tuning in. I'm Lauren LC Thriver, and we'll get started in a second. Let me know where you're tuning in from. Got some good information to come out for you guys today. So, how my queens doing out there? Also, our kings that tune in. Always appreciate you, men. You guys, you kings. Let me just make sure I can be heard. Yep. All right. So, welcome to Thrive Abundantly TV. I'm Lauren LC Thriver, the thriving entrepreneur, where I help amazing women entrepreneurs to take leaps and bounds into their business to create the wealth that they want without sacrificing time with family or a burnout. So I help entrepreneur women get from point A to point Z in their business, even if they're starting from scratch. So I'm super excited. I just got off the phone with an amazing future entrepreneur who's building her business off the ground, and she will soon be getting started with the coaching program here. So I'm always excited. I'm always looking forward to, helping you grow, it just makes me feel good. And I know it's my passion and what I was here for to, help others and always. But, I'm really excited about this, movement, this women empowerment movement of business entrepreneurs. For those who do and do not know, I started a free group page for women only. Sorry, kings. But if you go to bossqueensthrive.com, that's how you can get into my exclusive private Facebook group called Queen's Boss on the Thrive. So if you are, an entrepreneur woman or future entrepreneur woman, and you want to get amongst and around other boss entrepreneur queens out there, please go ahead and go to Boss Queens with an S, thrive.com, and you can get access to the group. There's going to be 3 questions that's asked for you because we like to know what queens are entering and how could they be a benefit of our group. So if you go to bossqueensthrive.com, it's .club, not .com. So it's bossqueensthrive.club. I'll make sure I take that out so that you guys won't get mixed up with that. So it's bossqueensthrive.club. Why? Okay, here we go. Boss Queens Thrive. Where's everybody tuning in from? State your city and state. What's up, Keith? Hey, King. State your city and state where you're tuning in from. Please share this because this is going to get good. Yesterday, I talked about LLC, knowing the advantages and the disadvantages. So as you guys are telling me where you're from, I'm going to elaborate a little bit more on the LLC. So like I said, I'm Lauren LC Thrive of Columbus, Ohio in the house. Woo woo. I'll be seeing you in a few days, King. So I talked about the LLC, the advantages and the disadvantages. There are definitely a lot of advantages for single members or partners, small businesses. But I gave BX in the house. What's up, New York? So I also talked about the advantages and the disadvantages of LLC. So if you missed that, I'm not going to elaborate on it. Go ahead and tune back. Or for those who are also on my email list, I gave the specific notes for that. So if you want those notes, please, put your email or just private, send me an inbox or whatever and say, I want those notes, so that you can get those notes. But if you're not on my email list, that was sent out this morning when I emailed it. So I gave the notes for yesterday. So check that out because I gave some very good insights. I definitely gave a specific plan of what you should do to make sure that you're not audit proof if you have a network marketing business. So it's really important because I specified the specifics of what you should do with setting yourself up and possibly going for a DBA or LLC. So yesterday was really good information. And I wanted to just elaborate a little bit about the LLC before I go into the S Corp. But the LLC may be considered, because I didn't share the consideration of the LLC. LLC may be considered if you have a non-residential shareholder. So as far as a foreign shareholder, like as far as if you do not live in a state that you're particularly filing in, an LLC should be considered. If another company is going to own it, like if you know that you're setting up your business and you want another company to buy out that company, an LLC is great. That's how I set up my second business. Both of my businesses are LLC, but I definitely made sure I did an LLC this time. And eventually when it expands and the income goes higher, I may consider an S Corp. Because I am looking to, eventually if my business grows big enough, I can set it up in a place that I sell it or pass it down for generations. This is how you build legacies. Okay. So I definitely speak about that. Okay. And the third one is if majority of income is going to come from real estate, as far as like rental, capital gains, an LLC should be considered. And lastly, if someone is investing in an IRA, as far as any of the members of the LLC, the partners, if they are investing in an IRA in retirement, an LLC for your business is very helpful. So if you did not see that, go back and check out the video. If you look on my Facebook at Thriva. I'm just gonna pop up my name here, LC Thriva, LCTHRIVA, not Thrive, Thriva with an A. Okay, so if you look up CEO LC Thriva, you'll find those videos as well as on YouTube. If you just look up YouTube LC Thriva, you'll be able to find it. Okay, so let's get into the S Corps. And then again, tomorrow, remember, we have a special guest tomorrow that's tuning in. She is, let me just make sure. She is a business and a tax professional. So please, tune in tomorrow. It's going to be at a special time tomorrow. So tomorrow we're going to tune in at 1 p.m. Okay. Because of, I'm traveling for one and our time difference. So it's going to be at 1 p.m. tomorrow that we're going on live. Of course, I will share the link on the page, as well as for those who are on my email list, you will be able to get reminded so that way you can RSVP. So let's talk about a little bit more. Oh, one other thing before I go into the S Corps, I wanted to talk about the risk that you can avoid of a single member LLC. The risk that you can avoid is having an operating agreement is a risk that you can avoid. Organizational documents and resolutions are easily to avoid when you have a single member LLC versus like, a bigger staff or an S Corp. Having adequate records. In order to, when you're a single member, these are the risks that you can avoid. Having adequate record keeping and records of everything. And I spoke about that yesterday with keeping good record keepers. I even gave a special gift for you guys, to keep track of your records. If you do not have one, I recommend one. I just put the link in the chat where you can get 7 days of software that I particularly use to keep records. We call it Cash Flow Manager. It's been very helpful for me. My tax advisor loves it. My CPA loves it. I can easily just put all my stuff in, take pictures of my receipt. It's all loaded in the cloud, and then I just send it over to her. She just logs in, she edit and fix whatever needs to be done. That way I can see what she did and there's no mystery. Everything's already in one place. So if you want to try it out and use it, you could for 7 days. And I think it's like only $10 a month. It's very cheap. So yes, having adequate records is very important for the risk that you can avoid when you're a single member LLC. Again, as a reminder, I am not a tax professional or CPA. I'm just giving you information and recommendation from education sources that I have, as well as from my tax professional who's educated me. So it's really important that you keep good record keeping, as I shared. Another thing that's really good as far as the risk that you can avoid as a single member is keeping adequately capitalized, so enough money in the biz to keep the overhead, to cover the overhead. So it's really important, and that's a lot easier when you're a single member LLC versus having to pay out payroll and things like that. Also, to avoid commingled funds and having separate accounts for the business is really important. So if you start your LLC and you have an LLC, make sure that you get an EIN number that I talked about yesterday. Once you have an EIN number, you should be able to go ahead and open up a business account. Now, some banks will deny you. This happened to me years back when I started one of my other businesses. They didn't take me because I didn't have my business long enough. So, but I have started an LLC straight off the bat and was able to open a bank account when I got my official LLC. So it really depends. And this is where you can, acquire more information from the bank. But in order to, avoid risk, have separate bank accounts for your business and spend from that account. If you use your personal account, make sure you keep records of it and do like a stat sheet of businesses that you paid out from your personal self, so that way your business pays you back. Just as you want to be just as official as the big business, okay? Even though you recognize as a small business, run as a big business. And then lastly, always act in capacity. So sign on behalf of the LLC, not personal. Okay. So for example, one of my businesses, LC Fitnessity, LLC, right? That's what it says in the document. But I put by my first and last name, comma, president. So always sign on behalf of the business. In the beginning, I didn't do that. Okay, so when you're signing, your things, your checks and stuff like that, is really important to do that and start creating that habit now. Put the business name of whatever it is, the LLC, DBA or whatever, and put by your first last name / president. Okay, so enough out. The LLC is just, making sure that you set yourself up, especially when you're a single member. But we're going to dive into the S Corp, which is really important. And if you have any questions, please type them in the chat, or if you want to inbox me or even email me at lauren@lcthriva.com, thrivewithlc.com. So lauren@thrivewithlc.com. That's 2 letters, L and C. Okay. But it's easier. You guys are here watching on Facebook. You can just send me an inbox or type in the chat. And these questions we will have for our special guest tomorrow, Vaughn Williams, who is a tax and a business professional. And she's going to come on and answer some great questions. I would love for you guys to tune in live. But if you can't, because we will be tuning in tomorrow at 1 p.m. Eastern time, you can give me your questions and I'll ask for you. And then, as you know, it's recorded. So, all right. The advantages and the disadvantages as far as an S Corp. The advantages of an S Corp is that you have lower taxes. Because as I said, with the LLC, you have to pay the self-employment taxes, and there's particular loopholes that you have with an S Corp. So this doesn't mean that the S Corp is not subject to self-employment taxes, as I said, but a salary must be taken out. Okay, so a salary must be taken, and taxes are paid on the owner's salary. But when you have an LLC and then you keep your good record keeping and you deduct you deduct your expenses from the salary. That's how you see business owners say, I only pay myself out 40,000 or whatever the case may be. So these are the loopholes where they pay lower in taxes. This is how you lower your taxes. Note, owners of an S corp are also known as shareholders. So, this is all based on the shareholders. So all shareholders who manage the company or own more than 2% of the company has to give a salary when you have an S corp. Salary could be less than the profit, but it must be reasonable. So you can't be bringing in $1 million and talking about you made $50,000. Okay. So, these are things that you discuss with your accountant, your CPA and things like that, and make sure that you qualify. I'm just here giving the base education. Like I said, by all means, I'm not a CPA. Make sure you continue to do your research and also speak with your CPA, your tax professional. And tomorrow you can come on and ask some questions about that because I have a special guest coming on. All right, so the salary has to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes when you are an S corp and you're taking out your own taxes. Like I said, it doesn't have to be based off the profit, but it needs to be reasonable, and you have to pay Social Security and Medicare taxes just as much as you're an employee. So pretty much you're an employee for your business. This is where you set up yourself a little differently than an LLC. As a single member, you're kind of more like sole proprietor. So an S corp does pay income taxes per se. They file a 1120 S, which is the tax return, and the shareholder who's the owner, like I said, the owner of the S corp gets the form of a K1, same thing like the LLC. As I said yesterday, they get a K1 for their personal returns that they file. Okay, so those are the particular advantages overall. An S corp has ways where they can lower more taxes, and they can lower where they have for their salary and things like that. But as I said yesterday, it really depends when you're starting small and you're not bringing in that much kind of income, especially if you have something that's like a side hustle that you're building up, and S corp is not really for where you are. But if you have, like a licensing company, a real estate company, or things like that, where you're bringing in a great deal of money, an S corp may be considered. Okay. But some do the LLC. And I'm sure Ron will share a little bit more about that and even give her personal insights of how she puts her business entities. Okay. Now let's talk about the disadvantages. The S corp disadvantages is way more paperwork. So that's definitely a disadvantage. It's a lot more complicated than filing an LLC as far as getting an S corp. You have to file a separate tax return for the company, even if it's one member. So if it's just me and I have an S corp, you have to file a separate tax return. So that's the one disadvantage is more, you lower your taxes, but you got more paperwork that you have to prove. And you got to pay payroll taxes. Remember yesterday I talked about the LLC, you don't have to do a payroll because you particularly pay yourself out off the profits. But when you have an S corp and then you're building off a salary, you need to show some payroll. So even if it's for yourself, because you're paying yourself out and giving yourself a salary. So you have to pay payroll taxes and file quarterly what's the name? Quarterly payroll tax returns. Okay. So if you ever hear like business owners and say they had to write a check every quarter and things like that, that's particularly what they're talking about. Now, a lot of times they have an LLC and they do because some, like, you don't have to file for an S corp depending, but a lot of those who do, they more than likely have an S corp. And then lastly, the last disadvantage is higher tax preparation and accounting fees. There's a lot more paperwork. So guess what? Your accounting has to charge your CPA, and your accounting has to charge you more money. So the accounting fees are a little higher. Okay, so that can range about from what I've seen and quoted. Don't know, it depends on the city and state, but it can range from about $500 to $2,000 per year on fees. So it's really important that you kind of know where you are with your business and where you're starting out and what is the best direction to go and where you particularly are. Always great to speak to, a tax professional who understands businesses, or like I said, or a CPA. Some tax professionals may not have their CPA license per se, but they could definitely give you a good rule of thumb of what you need to do and how you should go about it, especially if this person is doing your particular taxes. Maybe I'll share some insights on how to know when you have a really good tax professional. For one, are they asking questions? And are they actually looking for your records? Like, you know what I mean? Like when they're filing and giving your stuff, are they even coming back and showing you anything, asking any kind of other questions? Are they giving you some education on what you should be doing and how you do for the next year? That's really important to know when you have a good tax professional. Don't let Ray Ray and your cousin and Peaches or whoever file your taxes and they're just punching in numbers, okay? It's really important, especially if you want to set yourself up for success and really gain and have a profit in your business. Ray Ray may not get it just because he know how to punch some numbers in or he worked at H&R Block for, a year, okay? When you have something small and simple as just like your job, like you just have like a W-2 or anything like that, then yeah. But when you're really getting into business and you're really setting yourself up, for financial success, it's really good to start building your team. What was that? Last Friday, I talked about the 10 power moves that all entrepreneurs should be doing. I think the third one was about building your team. Having the right tax professionals, an accounting, CPA, and things like that is really important. But a lot of times you can have a really good tax professional who might not be in accounting, but if you do and understand a lot of your own with doing your own record keeping and you're very adamant about it and you don't have like a crazy huge business, you might not need to pay fees for accounting or anything like that in the beginning. One of the books that I've been recommending all week is Lower Your Taxes Big Time by Sandy Botkins, Botkins. If you even look him up on Facebook, he's great. He gives a lot of information. He released a new edition of his book last December. This is where I learned a lot, where I've gotten really good with my record keeping or whatever the case may be. And my accountant really does very, very little. She does, other things besides the accounting. I prefer to do my own accounting because I am able to keep a good record of it and have a better rule of thumb. And my tax professional is the one that goes over and kind of look at the thing. So, why pay the extra accounting fee? Especially for someone who's more considered as a small business, it's just fees that's unnecessary at the time. With my accounting, we do more as far as like business planning and the structure of my business, and that's just like we kind of follow up a couple like maybe about 2-3 times out of the year. Okay, so that's just my personal experience. But I wanted to write a note as far as the net income. We're still talking about S corp. If the net income is less than $40,000 after business expenses and deductions, an LLC would be better to save the hassle of fees and paperwork. Okay, so if your business is not even breaking over 40,000, LLC might be a better way to go. Or as I said, as a DBA, especially if you just have like a product business, like you have like you're making particular products, a cake. Cake business, you make diaper cakes, you make hair products. When you're first starting out, maybe a DBA might be needed when you're starting from the beginning. But, if the net income is less than 40,000, after you take the business expenses, an LLC might be a better way to go and less hassle. The higher the net income, S corp is when it should be considered. Okay, so as your business grows, an S corp should be considered. So, like I said, piggybacking off of yesterday and giving the information about the LLC, if you're just starting out, the best place to go is an LLC or DBA, things like that. So, getting an EIN number, you can do for free. I got mine from a bank. My first one from a bank. Well, I have a few EINs, but I had my first one from a bank, and then other ones my tax professional did it for me. Okay. I also wanted to cover lastly about the S corp requirements. It has to be domestic within the United States, and all of the shareholders as the owners of it must be domestic. There has to be no more than 100 shareholders or business owners for an S corp. So certain times, like in certain businesses where they sell and they have like particular stocks and it has many shareholders, an S corp might not be needed per se. And this is something pretty huge, like an Amazon stock or Whole Foods, things like that. Amazon bought Whole Foods for $13.6 billion. Can y'all believe that? Like, things are gonna get crazy. But back on topic, an S corp. Another requirement is it can only have one class of stock, and also can only be owned by individuals, estates, or trusts, and cannot be owned by shareholders or other corporations. So self-directed IRAs cannot be part owner of an S corp, and it must be a C corp or an LLC. Okay. So that's the gist. I hope this was helpful. Please share this with others that may find that this is very helpful, especially if they're just starting out. By all means, if you need particular help with your business is starting out, even past understanding the business entities, I'm just here on Thrive Abundantly TV. I didn't even say my little spiel this before we started, but like I said, the purpose of Thrive Abundantly TV and why I'm here is get you to the point to start thinking, getting you to the point where you say, start making you go, into your business, and also gut check you and shake you a little bit. You got to start paying attention. It's time to wake up. If you're serious about this business and this is what you want, you need to start educating yourself. I'm telling you guys, I became such a nerd when I really wanted to make my business grow to live full time and not have to ever go back to a job. You know what I'm saying? I retired in 2011. Yeah, 2011. Not even retired. I just up and quit. So, and I always don't tell people that, but I never had to go back to, being in a cubicle. Oh my God, I had hives like when that happened. But these are things when you really want to grow in your business, you got to make sure that you start getting a just understanding of everything. I'm not saying you need to become a tax person and a tax attorney, but it's good to, get a lot of resources and education, educate yourself, put yourself in a place where you're always learning. Don't depend automatically all the time and just have no clue and idea about it. And this is what I did in the beginning. I had no clue about it and just gave everything over to, the professionals. Just have a just understanding. You know what I'm saying? So this is what I'm here for. This is what I share. This is things that I coach with my clients. By all means, if you need someone to look over your shoulder and really help you just move and thrive in your life and your business, definitely send me, a direct message. Email me at Lauren at thrivewithlc.com. I'll be more than happy to, assist and we can schedule, a strategy call per se. If you email me, be sure that you see, because I normally charge for my strategy calls. Make sure that you saw and put as the email free strategy call from video, and then just put like, hey, I saw your video and you said you were offering a free strategy call. I very rarely sometimes offer the free strategy call here, but we're finishing out and closing out the month. I only take very few clients because I'm very specific about who I work with and how much time I could do to really help them, in their business. So if you need someone to look over your shoulders, by all means, not hesitate to reach out to me. I mainly focus on women entrepreneurs, but if you're a man and you don't have a problem, it's all women in our field. I don't have a problem with you reaching out, but I'm speaking to our queenpreneurs out there. Okay. So even if you're starting from scratch, and really wanting to get into a place where you need to learn to go, the best thing I can always say that transferred my life and my business was me getting a coach. And if you have not checked out my 10 boss moves for all entrepreneurs, for queenpreneurs out there, all last week we talked about queenpreneur talk. I definitely mentioned that you need to invest into high level quality coaching. Okay. That was huge. I've had my times and my fair shares of mentors and some help here and there, but you're always running around. When I finally really decided to put some skin in the game and invest into my coach, that's where things open up for my business. And people, it's happening right in front of your eyes. I always say every day, one of my affirmations, I am building my multi-million-dollar business, my multi-million-dollar corporation to create billions. These things did not happen if I did not start investing. Put some skin in the game where I got scared and invested into a coach. So I'm here for you guys. I hope this was very helpful. Tune in tomorrow, 1 p.m. We have a special guest, Vaughn, that is coming on, and she will be just making sure I have all the stats for you guys. She will be on and sharing some great information that will be helpful. So tune in tomorrow at 1 o'clock. And if you have not subscribed to my email list, you would definitely find the page. If you go to CEO LLC Thrive, you'll see the sign up on my page, and you can go. And I love you guys. I hope this was very helpful. Please share this with all entrepreneurs. And I want you to thrive and win Keep going after your dreams, because if you don't, they won't happen.